Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Toku Portal podcast for Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger. I am Vashi V, and joining me today is.
Right. Uh, Zero made an overlay for
I see that.
for us to use. It doesn't quite line up the way he thought it would, though. So I'm gonna sit it back a little bit so that it doesn't look awkward. Because if I sit the normal way I would, it looks like this. So I'm gonna sit back a little bit today, and we're gonna try this out.
It doesn't look too horrible. I have to admit.
No,
But
the
then again, his overlays usually
yeah,
look pretty
they're
good,
they're awesome. Like every overlay we've ever used have been by him, right?
as far as I know. If he's the one making them,
Yeah, so he's actually really good at this. But yeah, the lineup on this one didn't quite work out the way he thought it would. But that's fine.
see, I think I just need to get him to make things for me now. I need thumbnails made.
Zenkaiger, episode 10. The pirates are actually paying for things, but with like jewels and treasure and stuff.
I It makes sense considering they're actually broke, since that's one of the things Flint points out. But my favorite thing is literally just they're going the reverse Gokaiger route, because Gokaiger went and pawned um, Lucas jewelry to get money, and this one's just no, we're just gonna pay him this.
Nah, just take my jewelry. This should be enough, right?
Like, and the fact that apparently everybody's just okay, or they're walking, or they're walking away before anybody can complain.
But the lady we see the example is just like, wait, hold on, what's it? Wait, these are actually really nice. Thank you. uh,
I ain't saying she a gold digger.
and then the monster appears on a building, and Sukaiser immediately shoots him down, like no hesitation.
Like, this is that gag from, what was it, the first episode, or it was either, no, it was Mushroom World. Um, that I loved so much, that instant monster standing there. I've got a great plan. I've got a great plan. Oh shit! I am bad at scouting.
Uh, Gee, I wonder why.
I mean, to be fair, he's bad at hiding too, apparently.
Sorry. So we get Mega Ranger's gear this week. I thought it was going to be like the arm thing.
Yeah, I was not expecting the surfboard.
Uh, which I didn't see Mega Ranger, so I kind of assumed the surfboards were just like a Power Rangers in space thing because they did.
Oh no, they were
Okay,
Mega Ranger 2.
because in space just kind of did whatever the fuck they wanted with that show.
They did, but like the core elements and stuff they left outside of like the grunts and stuff.
Right.
And then the whole, we're going in space, so every episode has an idiotic filter.
Well, thinking about it, thinking about like the stock footage and stuff. I want to say Mega Ranger was kind of an '80s homage.
Yeah, I can give it that, especially like like the start of it feels like it wanted to be like the 80s Godzilla homage, because you've got the military defense people, your secret base, and like the whole nine yards for what would be a Godzilla movie. It's just not a Godzilla movie.
Uh, uh, so after
And
this,
oddly, and on an odd note, there's an odd amount of English in that show to start with, despite it being a literally a 100% Japanese company.
They love English.
It's because it's all scientists, so apparently English science sounds better in English.
um. All right. So after they scare the monster away, Zox returns to his ship and Kaito follows him. For once, piggybacking off of someone worked.
Yeah, this one. To be fair, he's not in another dimension.
So
Apparently,
Kaito starts scolding Zox for causing trouble. And then Zox's sister finally speaks up and explains their situation because she's tired of hearing it. Uh, which is, well, something we talked about last week. They went to SD World. Their brothers got turned into that. And so now they need to defeat Toji Tendo to free SD World so they can go back to look for a cure.
which is very good reasoning.
Which lines with Kaito's goal of freeing the worlds. And also defeating Toji Tendo to free his parents.
Right. Um, and that's where like it puts Gold more as that borderline antagonist.
Um,
More because he's not with the team.
More an
But
anti-hero.
if you yeah, that was the word I was trying to think of. Because he's that I'm a hero, but only because what I'm doing currently lines up with what you're doing.
Right. One of our goals align, but not all of them.
Right.
Meanwhile, Bokuwas is getting pissed, like, hey, those fucking pirates. What if they join the Zenkaiger? The fuck are you people doing?
Uh, I like the fact that that also calls back to the fact that the pirates have already been there once,
Right?
and he's like, "These fuckers, why didn't you stop them? What do you do?
They're
Stop them now! Stop
they're
them now!"
they're still causing problems.
Which
But
I can get Bakawas's agitation with like this type of shit, because how many times have we heard him basically bitching about something and the general to go, "Oh, don't worry, we have a plan."
Barashitara does have a plan though. He's gonna observe for now, but he has a good inkling of an idea.
Yeah, it's partly due to Ijirude's plan.
Uh, Kaido explains to the others what they told him about the pirates and their brothers in SD World, and Blue goes, "I've got it! SD stands for Super Deformed."
I give them credit for explaining that, and I swear that was only explained for our audience.
Probably.
Because again, this is one of those things where Japan is very, very aware of the SD, and I mean, hell, a lot of their kid shows have it. They have a show called SD Gundam. So this is very much something that the Japanese kids are already aware of. So why point that out? It's like I just feel like Toei's getting better at least acknowledging the fact that it's not just their market that's watching this, because they are very aware that we are watching this, obviously, given all the Toei Tokusatsu world and the Shout Factory deals. So it's nice seeing that acknowledgement in the show, just to that way we don't have to have the translator notes.
Yeah, Toei has been a lot more progressive about bringing this stuff over to the West. They're
Eh,
acknowledging that they have a fan base outside of Japan.
like to the extent of good God, they're straight up releasing anime, and it will 100% be released in the U.S. So hell yes.
So Gawan notices that the shop is pretty quiet. I mean, the kids usually come over right after school. But Jurin points out, what, it's still only noon though.
Dun dun dun.
And yeah, that's the monster is midday world. He made it noon everywhere all the time. And this goes on for 3 days.
So the question I have to ask is he also somehow controlling, clocks?
Yeah, that's the implication because Jordan checks the time and it still says noon.
Okay. I wanted to make sure like that I saw that right because I was like, if he's just putting this on, that holds no bearing on a like a digital clock or anything else like that.
It's also warping people's actual perceptions of reality because despite it being noon for 3 days straight, nobody realizes that more than a day
It
has passed.
right to the point where Kaito's confused when Sechan
Like,
apparently runs out of battery.
yeah, like, but I charged him last night though.
He lasts all day. What the hell?
Hmm. Like, they even turn on the news, and reporters are like, okay, so it's noon in both Brazil and Japan at the same time, and we're confused.
Right.
But that's as
Uh,
far as they get. Like, they don't make any connection beyond that. And then Zox, he's like, wakes up, he's like, ah, man. Ah, I slept great. I should go shopping down on Earth. It's been 3 days. Has Earth always had four suns?
like I said, one fucking brain cell between the entire cast.
Uh, but but he like finds the monster right away.
Right. Like that's the thing like they do a great job of acknowledging how good he is at doing what he does and just making him just slightly out there that you can question his intelligence and or motives.
So yeah, Midday World is hiding in a sewer, but Zox finds him anyways, and leads to my favorite line. Again with the dancing?
This monster was made for me. Because my god, again with the dancing. At least despite the fact that it happens what like 3 or 4 times this episode, at least the monster attempts to interrupt it, and two, it does get shortened.
Right, like when he goes to use one of his form changes, the monster's just like, I'm not gonna let you keep dancing.
It's just the movements just happen to be slightly defensive.
So yeah, Zox decides, yeah, I'll keep fighting the monsters and destroying their gears. Eventually, I'll get the one I want.
I mean, he's got a point.
Yeah,
I mean,
Zach,
to be fair,
it's a
that's
solid,
essentially
it's a solid plan. I mean, he can't break back into Toji Tendo because they put up defenses against that. So lure them
right.
out.
Right. Like, and given the fact that that more or less is the same plan that the Zenkaigers have, is like, yeah, we'll work together on this and only this.
Right. So when his fight against the monster nearly causes some civilians to get crushed under rubble, the Zenkaigers save the civilians. And so Kaito decides he sees Zox's point of view. You're here to defeat the Toji Tendo, not worry about civilians. Fine. You focus on defeating the Toji Tendo. We'll protect the people. And you.
Right. Like, as much as he is a dumbass, he shows that quality that would make him the typical leader. In normal shows, the red.
My favorite is after they clear the rubble, Kaito turns to one of the people he rescued and they both ask, Are you okay? To each other at the same time.
Right. Like, it's there are points in these shows that I enjoy. Because, I mean, I'm brought it up multiple times where people act correctly. Like, because that, I mean, hell, a fucking building, basically, a wall landed on them. It makes sense that the people they're rescuing would go, "Are you okay?"
Like, did you just caught that? Like, are you okay? I'm grateful for that.
So they're going, "I understand there's four robots here, but you helped catch that,
You're a
so you
human.
good? You go squishy pancake."
So, Zox gladly accepts Kaido's proposal. He can rampage all he wants, and Kaido will worry about the cleanup.
I swear to God, this is that point where, like, under normal teams, this would be like the red and blue fighting over leadership. Like it would lead perfectly into like one of those storylines.
But that hasn't been an issue this series, except for that one special. But
Yeah, except for that one special.
uh,
uh, God, I can't wait for that to like legitimate be a thing. That would be awesome.
I really hope he returns.
I don't see a reason why they wouldn't. Like, if nothing else, have him show up in like the after movie.
Oh yeah.
You know, be that, hey, I'm taking up the mantle, and then Kaito goes, no, but we never stopped, dude.
And so, like, the Zenkaigers do their transform and roll call, all the while blocking stray shots and bullets that would have hit the people behind them.
Exceptionally badass. Like, as much as I wanted the standard roll call and stuff that they do, this was kind of badass.
Yeah, no, this is your all right. The six members part of the team. He's not officially part of the team, but he's cooperating with them to a
Right.
degree that they can agree on.
Which, to be fair, that's how a lot of the extra members kind of start. Well, the ones that aren't straight out antagonists. Fucking Burai. He started a bad trend.
Despite all his rage, he's still just mad at his dad.
All my brain wanted to do was finish that line correctly. Only slightly different because I think it's funnier. Despite all his rage, he's still just a man in a cave. And eventually, he's just a candle in the wind.
Oh, that's sad.
I made you laugh and sad.
Uh, Spoilers for a series that's like 30 years old.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it, to be fair, if you've watched Power Rangers but haven't watched um
Ranger.
Ranger, two major differences. One, he's found in a cave and rescued by a kid that, their Zordon and Zordon 2.0 try to kill to stop the kid from opening it. And then two, instead of him just becoming powerless when the candle ends, he dies. That's about it.
So, after Zox defeats Midday World on the ground, he grows giant, and it's time for the Kikai Noids to step up. Kaito literally falls asleep at the helm.
This is my favorite mech fight
This
of this entire show.
this wasn't just an ordinary mech fight. This one they actually had fun with. Like
Wait,
because okay, so now you have like dozens of suns, so it's super bright, right? And at first Magi's like, all right, well I'll just make it like very overcast, so that's not so bright. But Midday World's like, nah, man, my face is a sun too. It's also super bright. So they put on glasses. And he's like, wait, you have sunglasses? Of course not. You don't look at the sun with sunglasses. You wear eclipse glasses.
Like they did a great job of doing what would be the standard let's protect the people in the cockpit and having it fit the theme of the monster and having fun with it. And but my god, Kaito falling asleep is by far my favorite thing. It is a good thing that for the most part these mechs are, autonomous.
Autonomous.
They just can't do the finisher.
They need a little help with the gears. Excuse me.
It just like him just trying to like hold himself up and just
But yeah,
God, that was great.
this is a good example of making the monster matter during the mech fight. Like, sure, it was pretty one-sided battle, but still, like, they had to make thematic choices that mattered, and that's really what this show is about.
Right. It's very thematic and pointing out that certain characters are just dumb as hell.
And then the world resets to the proper time, which means it's the middle of the night in Japan. Ignore that black screen in the sky.
I
And,
wasn't gonna point it out.
and everyone just falls the fuck asleep immediately. Zox's sister, whose name I will try to learn at some point, is like,
Blend.
man, these guys are a nuisance. Maybe we should just off them right now. But Zox goes, nah, they're currently useful to us.
Solidifying that anti-hero status.
Cut to Barashitara. They're not joining forces, eh? That'll cost them. Yes?
I'm taking bets on how long it costs them. I'm saying half an episode.
Yeah, not.
It'll cost them until the mech shows up.
So, you remember in Cure Major when we had an episode that was literally just a game of red light, green light?
Yeah.
Well, this year it's tag.
Yay! That's fun. Like, I think the biggest reason why I like this and I liked Kira Major as much as I did was despite how serious the shows eventually took themselves, it was fun.
Right.
Like the cast had fun, the writers had fun, every aspect of that went into making that show, they had fun. I mean, hell, they got the pen pineapple apple pen guy, and continuously made references to it. They had a blast. And so far, 10 episodes into this,
I have a
they're
Cena.
having.
I have a Cena. Cena!
I didn't realize how bad I wanted that to actually happen until I got it.
And you wanted it to happen.
And I wanted it. I wanted it. Some sort of reference of the actual song beyond just like the PPAP being on a sign that had other words, and that show was fun. I'm gonna be. I don't know. I have a feeling that show will severely disappoint me when it gets made into Power Rangers. If it gets made into Power Rangers.
Yeah, I don't know what Hasbro is planning for their long term.
To be fair, we don't know what Toei's plan is either with certain things either. Because, yeah.
Speaking of Toei's plans, it is currently 2021, which means next year is 2022. Uh, do you know where I'm going with this?
I want goddamn Shinobi.
Yes! Toei, please!
Like it would be the easiest time to do it too.
Uh, it would literally be canon.
It would be canon, and it would actually be easy
If
given the whole pandemic thing with it. With it being ninja theme, it would be very easy.
I bring this up now because within the next few months, we're going to see the trademark soon. Uh,
Um, Months we should be seeing that now
I mean,
because we're on what episode was that? Bring me that back. I mean, this is episode 34, so we only
yeah,
have
the new
18.
series, like, so
But
when
here, but there's an issue though on what we're gonna get because, to be fair, they don't actually need to make one.
so first off, last year around this time, is when Zero One had to take its hiatus, and I said yeah, I don't know when they decide their new series, but if the hiatus might give the writers more time to work on their scripts. And then we got like the Saber announced it like a month later or something like that. It's like, yeah, okay,
Right.
this was clearly already decided by then. So yeah, the
Right.
new Rider series has 100% been decided by now. But the question comes: when is Toei
When,
going to file the trademark?
but we have an issue this year that we haven't had any other year. They already have a plan for a 2021 2022 rider.
Wait, what do you mean they already have a plan?
Kamen Rider Black Rising Sun.
I thought that was gonna be like a sideshow like Amazon's was.
They haven't specified
I can't imagine that it would be any other way.
because the way it read to me, let me double check this so my information is accurate. Um, is they hadn't entirely put it out. Do.
I don't remember where we were talking about this. Was it in the spoilers chat?
I think so, but I haven't. Where'd it go?
No, that's Fuwa's new form. Get hype.
Companies Toei.
No, was it in the normal podcast chat? This must be riveting for the audience at home.
Yes, I apologize. Because it's the 50th anniversary.
Wait, okay, hold on. Discord has a
Because
search function. I can just
it
search black
in
and
well, I pulled it up on Toku Nation. Well, yeah, to please translate that. Um, in commemoration of the 50th anniversary of Kamen Rider's birth, Kamen Rider Black, which can be said to be a monumental work in the Kamen Rider series, will be newly produced as Kamen Rider Black Sun.
the new series
This
is scheduled
series
for
is scheduled
launch.
spring of 2022.
They're not gonna wait 6 months to air a new Rider
I
series.
I didn't see when it was supposed to actually launch.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Uh,
Um, reading further into it, because this is actually on Kamen Rider official, like Toei's Kamen Rider official site. Um, Kamen Rider, which began broadcasting in TV Asahi in 1971. Since then, a number of riders that can be enjoyed by children and adults have appeared, including the second work of the Reiwa Kamen Rider Saber. In commemoration of the birth, we have decided to remake Kamen Rider Black after more than 30 years. The work logo is newly written by calligrapher Son Takeda. The worldview of this perfectly of this work is beautifully magnificent and expressed. Um, but it's going to be um, a work for adults. So, fortunately, and yes, so that it's going to go along the Amazon job then.
Yeah. Now, it could be more than just the 12 episode series that Amazon's was,
Right.
which
The way I seem to read this, um, I think it's more going to be a retelling of the whole story, but condensed. I mean,
yeah,
this was 51 episodes.
yeah,
This is 51
this
episodes.
is a passion project for sure.
Yeah, 100%. So I don't see them pulling the Amazon's issue of two 12 episode series or
So,
seasons.
going back to my original point, you already have the proof of concept for Shinobi
And you had not only that, but you have the fact that people enjoyed it.
in like suit design, plot points. Like those 3 episodes gave us more than Zio did in like half the series.
Right. Um but yeah, it does set up beautifully to be the next writer.
And like they even teased in the end credits like there are other like rider designs we could introduce.
Right. And they introduce a couple of them in that tease. So, it to me it would be a waste of suits not to make it. Like I get the whole throwaway suits that they tend to do for like movies and stuff like that for quote unquote future writers like Kamen Rider Aqua.
What year was
Uh,
Aqua?
O's.
No, what year was Aqua?
Oh, I didn't. I don't remember it specifying. Kogami was old as shit though.
uh uh 2051.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while for that one. I kind of want to still be around watching the show just to see.
Just to
Could
see.
you,
I doubt
dude?
it.
Could you imagine though?
The long haul. They'd have to get like an entirely different actor though.
I mean, it's Japan. It wouldn't be hard to find an actor and then hair and makeup. Besides, they have two kind of looks for him, anyways. Because you have him as the Poseidon version of him, and then his non-Poseidon version, and they both kind of look like two different people.
All
And
right.
it wouldn't be hard for somebody to go, "Oh, that yeah, time travel just it dicks with you." So, quantum theory, shut up.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I had started looking up um all that stuff, and I hadn't found any legitimate um whatchamacallits uh blah, 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 trademarks.
Oh, yeah, no. That's the thing that I was trying to say earlier is that like the new Rider series has probably been decided on by now, but the question is when will Toei file the trademark? Because I have no idea what goes into that. Especially since if they're not doing Shinobi, they have to decide on what the show is. What's it going to be called?
Right.
And that
And
alone could take weeks if they can't agree on something.
so how long so because I'm wanting to do the math on here because I can already tell bro this is wrong. When was this posted? Wow, somebody can't count. So we're
But
34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 45, 46, 47, 48. So it's going to be around July to August,
Did you skip 44?
probably. I'm in a hurry because I'm trying not to draw this out.
But yeah. So
Because
the
one of the rumors I found says, because it says I guess somebody found something that's quote unquote part of a trademark for it. But there's no, it's nothing official with what the list is, and there's actually question marks on this.
so basically the basically it's around summertime that we usually get the new trademark. So the May to July area, which is why I said within the next 3 months.
That's fair. But this
Um,
show will end. This show should end by the end of July.
okay, so we should be looking at a trademark sooner than later. So
Yeah.
uh, by the end of this month, or at least in the first half of June.
Um. But yes, what I see here, and again, this 100% is grain of salt. Is the series is rumored to be called Common Rider Victory.
I'm listening.
The motif is sports and spies.
I'm confused.
The belt is supposedly very large, and you install two types of gimmick items to transform. This is called a long change.
I'm
Ma- Main rider and second rider start as enemies, but are forced to work together against a common threat.
what?
And this is where I'm confused at, because um, somebody asked for the source. They posted whatever this is in Japanese because I don't read Japanese. And the response is, can't say I believe it. Would be strange for the 50th anniversary rider to be based on Go Ranger.
No, it wouldn't. That'd make perfect sense.
Um, I guess somebody tried to translate this. It says either the name is Kamen Rider Show, which means victory is in Japanese, victory in Japanese, or it is written show and read victory, which is not uncommon in Japan with naming things.
Especially
Um,
Toei.
as said, the first words are Kamen Rider Show slash victory, victory blitz artifact. Assuming this is default form, I guess artifact is a term for the forms, and a gimmick involved would be something like double or build.
Wait,
Um,
artifacts? What does that have to do with sports and spies?
just wait. This is why I'm so confused by the thing. So the next writer below show victory is Kamen Rider the Lost,
What?
and the form name is supposedly Ka, Kanta Mumu San Geyser. Um, Either whoever posted it cannot make out the words because of blurry images, etc., or it really is clutter. The next parts are random words, starting off horizontally with COVID, time at home vertically, a house, window, smoke vent. The next part says belt is a house, kaiju rider. And the last portion of words are butler, master, card, map symbols. So maybe they're going with the times where staying home for everything is the next thing. The writer is someone who protects houses. They like the none of this. The longer I scrolled through this, the worst it got.
Sorry, did you just pitch two different shows to me? Cause I got lost
From the
somewhere.
same guy. From the it was all it's that's all what the image supposedly translated as.
like,
That was like three different shows in one.
is the new writer the librarian or not? I don't know.
No, that's Philip. Yes, I realize that's a bad joke. Stop staring at me. But yeah, no, like nothing about this syncs up in a way that, if this is real, makes me
Like,
look forward
if
to
that's
it.
real, then some of that got mistranslated because that's not very cohesive.
Have you watched Saber?
Listen.
In defense, um, and it's not the first time that we've read things that sounded idiotic but were amazing. I mean, to be fair, video game doctor sounded dumb as
It's
hell.
also not the first time that like we've gotten spoilers like this out of context. Like a reliable source leaked that in Ryu Soldier they would be the masters. But out of context, it's like, wait, are there just gonna be like two Red Rangers walking around then? Like, no.
I mean, for an episode, yeah.
Yeah, for one episode.
um, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing that happens where we get information that is so out of context, it's ridiculous.
Oh, I just remembered. When Build was first announced, like the plot synopsis was so heavily mistranslated, that because you know how the bottles each represent a different like object or animal.
Yeah,
That was so heavily mistranslated. It sounded like he was capturing spirits in the bottles.
that's right. Because we questioned if it was gonna how why that wasn't part of Ghost.
And then the
Um,
actual answer was like, "Oh, this makes more sense."
right, and like the fact that there was if for 01, the fact that there was supposed to be the homage to um Ichigo and Nigo by having another um 01,
Technically, that
which
happened.
oh no, 100% that happened, just not in the show. Go on, you got to watch that movie. Um,
I watched the
but
01 movie, not the Eden one, the other
yeah,
one.
you need to watch the Eden one. The Eden one is it puts things how they wanted to make the show,
Hmm.
but due to COVID and issues they had, they were forced to, rewrite parts of it, and that was one of the parts that they rewrote. So, like what we got in the show was misinformation was originally made that all that misinformation. It wasn't necessarily wrong. It was just wrong how it was presented because of out of context. And then eventually turned out to be right because they fixed their shit. But yeah, have fun with that Eden movie, dude.
Yeah, at some point I'll watch it.
It skips a lot of shit.
What do you mean?
Okay, so what's the last thing you remember from 01 happening in 01?
Uh, Aruto
In
King.
terms of, well, in terms of Eden,
Oh, you told me about this actually.
the show ends with him getting the key and becoming Eden for the first time. The movie starts with him and Arto fighting at what would be the end of a normal movie. And
Uh,
it doesn't go backwards to explain what happened
no,
between the
it,
end of the show and
that's the
now.
start, and it goes from there.
Right. The closest you get to backstory is why Thouser's an even bigger dick than he was. Turns out Thouser caused more problems than we saw,
All right.
which is the plot of the movie.
So thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. We'll be back on Tuesday for more Zenkaiger, which was definitely today's podcast topic.
I mean, it was for a good 25 minutes,
Uh,
at least.
so thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for sticking around to a podcast that eventually turns into Saber, because I have a bad habit of not showing up for the Saber podcast.